Holmes here, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about me. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. So, my name's Emma Holmes. I am a mum of two. I'm from the northeast of England. I love the north of England. It is the most beautiful place in the world, in my opinion. And I run, and I'm the founder of Coaching Rockstars. And Coaching Rockstars is all about coaches not being ordinary coaches. It's all about coaches being able to get out there in a big way, make a big splash, and get famous for what they do so that they attract more people into their business, they get more fans around them, and that they can help more people. And ultimately, that results in them making more profits. So, where did I begin? I began working when I was really little. I started working as a waitress when I was about 9 or 10, and I've always worked really hard throughout my whole life. And when I was younger, I always dreamed about becoming a lawyer, and I went and focused and single-mindedly followed that dream through. And I worked hard at school, and I went on and I trained to be a lawyer, and I ultimately became a qualified family lawyer. It wasn't Ally McBeal, but I loved it. It always been my goal, and I loved helping people. There was nothing better for me than helping and assisting people when their world felt like it was at their lowest. They were at their lowest ebb. I loved working with ladies in the Women's Refuge. I loved helping people who were in crisis, and you know, it really ticked all the boxes for me. I was living my dream, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I had loads of letters after my name. Yeah, I went off to work suited and booted, and it was living the dream for me until it wasn't. Until I had children, and the legal system changed quite substantially in the fact that legal funds were being cut from the government and things like that. I'm not going to get all political about it, but my work changed quite significantly, and I felt that there'd been a shift away from actually helping the people that needed my help, and that's what I loved doing the most. That's what really made my heart sing. And I'd had my two little people, and I didn't want to go out to work really early in the morning anymore, and I didn't want to come home really late at night anymore. And it resulted in, I got into this guilt cycle. Where on a Sunday evening, I'd start to feel really guilty because the week ahead was about to start. And I didn't stop feeling really guilty till a Friday evening. So essentially, I only give myself Saturday off from feeling guilty. And I thought that the best solution and the best case scenario for solving these problems was that I could work part-time, and that would be fine, that would be great. But I started working part-time, and I still lived on a guilt cycle. So when I was at home, I felt guilty that I wasn't at work, I wasn't pulling my weight with my colleagues, I wasn't serving my clients properly, I wasn't around for them as much as I could be, and I felt guilty that I wasn't in the office. But then when I was in the office, I felt really bad and really guilty that I wasn't at home with my lovely little people, and that I was missing out, and you know, everything was really stressful, and it just felt like I was racing to get home, and I just couldn't wait to get out the door, and I would be, you know, sat with the time card waiting to switch out the minute that I could. So I knew that something had to change. I knew that I could either shut up moaning and just get on with it and continue to live as I was living. And I wasn't earning a bad salary. I was earning really quite well. Even though I was part-time, my salary was still miles above the national average. But it just didn't make me happy. It didn't make my heart sing anymore. So I decided that I wasn't going to be one of these people that just whinged and moaned and carried on, and decided that I was going to do something about it. And what I decided to do about it was, I decided that the safest, best way to become self-employed, because I knew that the best case scenario was that I could work for myself, that I could have flexibility, that I could have a way of life that suited me. So I thought that the best way to become self-employed was to buy into a franchise. So I bought into a franchise thinking, you know, this is going to be brilliant. It's a tried and tested model. I'm going to have loads and loads of support. I'm going to have people who are really knowledgeable about business there to help me. Now, I thought that I was relatively business savvy because I'd spent a long time in the corporate world. I'd spent a long time going along to marketing meetings and being involved in marketing strategy and talking about brand awareness and these marketing meetings. If you've ever seen the bingo, the corporate buzzword bingo, the spoof board that people have put together, these marketing meetings, you would have been shouting house every time because they went through every marketing buzzword. And when I'd been in corporate world, I decided that, that particularly for my type of work, which they classed as a distress product, it was about relationships, because people were going to be coming to me at their lowest ebb, and that they needed to feel safe and comfortable talking to me. And I knew that it was all about building relationships. Other professionals weren't going to refer people to me if they didn't think that I was nice, because people wanted to have a nice, friendly, approachable family lawyer that would help them sort their problems. So I knew that a lot of marketing was about building relationships, and I'd done that in the corporate world. But like I said, I thought I was quite business savvy, and I thought that I would be okay. And with all this help and support around a franchise, I thought, this is the perfect world for me. Except I found out that it really wasn't, and that I bought into a franchise model that really didn't do the things that I had been promised that it would do. So that business was not making me very much money at all. That business run year one at quite a significant loss. Year two, it run at a little loss, and year three, it run at a very measly profit. And I hadn't been paying myself very much out of that business at all. But what I'd done is I'd taken the opportunity, whilst I was running that business, to start to soak up and learn absolutely everything that I could about business and marketing. I invested in programs, I got involved, I tried things, I tested things, I was brave, I put things together that might work, and I put them out there, and I tweaked them, and I tested them again, and I got lots of help and support, and I worked with a coach, and I soaked up. I became the person who sat there on a night just taking in as much information as I possibly could. And I got to the end of the line with the franchise business one day when the circus had come to town, and the children were desperate to go to the circus. Everyone at school had been talking about the circus. And it was a little bit like, the circus is coming, you must go to the circus! And it got really high-pitched and excitable. And I'd scrimped and I'd saved, and I brought enough money together to buy circus tickets. And I was quite proud of myself that I'd managed to do that I'd brought that money together. And we got there, and we got to the circus. And invariably, like as always, there was people walking around the circus selling tat, things that lit up, things that flashed, things that the kids could whirl around in the air. And I couldn't afford to buy any of the tat. I'd used all my money up on the tickets. I couldn't afford to buy popcorn or hot dogs or anything like that. And that was the point where I went in that business. Do you know what? Enough is enough. And did that business fail? Depends how you look at it. I certainly don't see that business as a failure. I see that business as the most valuable business lessons and business program that I have ever seen anywhere, because I learned how not to do things. I learned so much on how not to run a business that it would prove invaluable for me moving forwards. So I continued to learn, I continued to grow, and I started coaching. And I worked really hard coaching other people and honing my craft and honing my skills, and again still learning more and more and more and soaking up as much as possible. And at the beginning of 2015, I kind of set myself a little bit of a challenge, and I'm calling it My Project 100K. And My Project 100K came about. I had started a business called The Launch Queen, where I was teaching people how to launch in their online businesses and how they could get their businesses out there in a big way. And I had done a lot of work with some VIP clients doing really big launches. So I decided that I was going to take that, and in September 2014, I put together The Launch Queen. And in January 2015, I set myself what I'm now calling My Project 100K. And that was one mission. Over the 12 months, I was going to make 100K. there was one result. I either would or I wouldn't. So I set about putting together lots and lots and lots of strategies to bring together a 100k business. And I learned so much over those 12 months, so much about the essential elements that you need to have a 100k coaching business. And I am really chuffed to bits to say that December 2015, that my project 100k was a success. The Launch Queen turned over 100k plus, and that brought about my development onto the next level, and that was Coaching Rockstars. I teach so much more than launching, and the Launch Queen had helped me to prove my strategies. It had helped me to help lots of people. You know, nowhere was it a sham, and nowhere was it anything that I put together to upset anybody. You know, lots of my clients got massive, massive value from the Launch Queen. And what I had done is I'd realised that my business was so much more than launching. You know, launching was an essential part of what I taught, but in order to pull off the most successful launches and in order to build a really big, viable, ongoing coaching business, there needed to be so much more behind that launch, and there needed to be so much more brought together to make people have a big business, to allow people to grow into a 100k business. And all of those elements I crafted and I honed and I brought together. And as I said, my project 100k was a huge success. So Coaching Rockstars is here, and it's all about showing you how you don't have to be an ordinary coach, how you can get out of your own way, how you can get stuff done, how you can start to put together the framework and foundations that are necessary to build a 100k coaching business. So that's just a little bit about me. That's just a little bit of a whistle-stop tour through my career and where I am now. So I hope that was insightful for you. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.